ladies. It's safe to assume only women are watching this video, right? Because why else would men be watching? Hello, ladies. How are you? So I'm here to talk about a topic I don't usually like to talk about. If you ask my cousin Trudy, anytime she brings it up, I'm like, no, let's not talk about it. La 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 la, like an immature brat. But today I'm gonna be a mature woman and discuss these things because first, it's important information for women who are visiting Japan or live in Japan and are riding the crimson wave, in their cycle, and it's important to have this information, so I'm going to help you. And also it will tie in with some medical issues I'm having that I will probably discuss in a little bit in this video and in details later on, so might as well make a video and help some people and talk about something I don't like to talk about. But yeah, welcome. We're going to talk about menstrual products in Japan. Okay, sanitary products, pads and tampons and menstrual cups, all the things. Now, these items I'm going to talk about today are based off of my preference and what works for me. And I'll give you a little information on why they work so well and why I like them. I've been living in Japan for almost 4 years now, so those are many cycles that have passed, and I've used a bunch of different products. Some have worked, some I just hated, so these are the ones that I like best and I think would work better for women of color because you have bigger butts, most of you. And there is a difference between the sanitary products that will work for a smaller woman with no ass, no bottom, and a bigger woman. So yeah, also just brands that are closer to the quality you're used to in a different country. And let me just preface this video by saying that Japanese sanitary products are great. I like them. A lot of foreigners complain about them, but I don't know which ones they're using. Maybe they haven't tried the variety, but I like them compared to some of the ones I used back home. I mean, always Infinity pads will always be my faves. They are forever the best things I've ever used, but let me just tell you from now, they're not in Japan. You're not going to find always here. Sorry, no Infinity. I've looked into buying them, but it's just too expensive, so I've just been like, forget it. So these are our alternative things that you can use. So first, what's the name of like menstruation in Japanese? Now, if you've just arrived and you don't know Japanese and you pull out Google Translate, you'll see that it's called, if you type in period, it will give you the wrong kanji. So don't type in period in Google Translate, type in menstruation and it will give you the answer. There we go. You can just show that to whoever. So it's Gekkei, which a foreigner would pronounce Geki, but it's actually Gekke. One more time, Google Translate. Gekke. Gekke. So that's a proper pronunciation for it. Now, where can you find it? Now, you can get them in any convenience store. However, the choices are limited, and it's usually the very thin ones for light days. Some might have the thicker ones that you might want in convenience store, but it's better to go to a supermarket supercenter. Now, I don't want to say a supermarket alone because there are supermarkets that don't sell these products. So, for example, Gyom Super, a supermarket I go to in Wakayama, it's mainly for food produce. So it doesn't sell menstrual products. It sells some cleaning products, but not menstrual products. I don't know why. But if I go to Okua, which is a big supermarket supercenter, they'll have a whole row of different products, which is where I went. So that covers what it's called in Japanese, where to find it. So I guess we can go right into the products I use. Now, I mentioned a little bit before that I'm having some kind of medical problems. I've actually been having them for about 6 years now. The issue I have is I have uterine fibroids, or myoma. It's called myoma in Japan. That's the English term they use for it. And what they are they're tumors, but non-cancerous, supposedly non-cancerous tumors inside my uterus. and mine have been getting progressively bigger over the past couple of years. So mine, I think I have 2 or 3. The largest one I have is about this big, or this big. It's 10 centimeters, and it's right there in my uterus. And uterine fibroids, they're kind of harmless. They're not gonna kill you, but they do have symptoms, side effects that are terrible. Terrible for me. Lots of pain and extremely heavy periods, like extremely heavy, like buckets. Buckets upon buckets. So because of that, I'm limited by the types of products I can use. I can't use the thin light pads for for the first 2 or 3 days for heavy periods. So what I have to use is this. So this is from, what's the name of the company? Laurier. You can find them in any supermarket, supercenter. What I like about this is the price. It's less than 300 yen, so I guess that's less than $3 US. And you get 2 packs of 10. And they're actually very thick. I guess I could open one. Yeah, so I'll just open one for you. Don't worry, it won't go to waste. So as you can see here, they're very long. Let's get in focus. They're very long and they're very thick. And what I like about it is this part of it is kind of more cottony feeling than, say, Always, which has kind of like a more plastic covering on it. And so this doesn't stick to your skin like some other foreign products that I've used in the past. So I actually prefer this cottony feel. It's very comfortable. And this part is so wide, like here, so it covers the entire bottom part of your underwear. And that's good because if you have a very large ass like I do, I'm not even bragging, I have a big ass. If you have a big butt like I do, then thinner pads you'll have leakage. They won't cover enough of the area behind you, where if you're bleeding, it just goes right out. Oh, that's very graphic, but important. So I really, really, really like this brand. And because I have uterine fibroids, I will go through 5 of these in 5 hours. So I have to change every hour. So it's, what's the word? It's more cost saving. This is more cost saving for me, this pack of 20. And it works better, and I don't have that much leakage. However, when I'm riding my bicycle, I do have problems with leakage because you're riding and then you have a and then you're pushing your legs together. Oh, that reminds me. So one thing I don't like about this, because if you're a heavy-set woman or if you have very big thighs like most black women do, it kind of squeezes it like this. So that's why when you're riding your bicycle, you might have leakage. So what I do is I double up with a pad and a tampon to try and survive while riding a bicycle and not have any accidents. So for the first 3 or 2 days, this is what I love. This is what I need. For the lighter days, now on the pads you'll see, on the pad bags you'll see like this. Centimeters, which tells you the length of the pad, right? So this one is actually overnight, but I use it for in the day, general usage. So to buy your pads, you can actually check that on the labels. So now for lighter days, I use Unicharm. Okay, I'm sorry, I cannot read this. I know hiragana, but I just cannot bother to read this. But it's from Unicharm. And you have to be careful with this part. So as you can see, you have a blue part and a pink part. The blue part is for lighter days. So if you buy these, they'll be thinner. But this is the regular period days. So here you go. That shows you the centimeters, so how long it is, and for heavier days. These are okay for the lighter days, but for heavy days, I need the adult diapers. I thought these were adult diapers at first because they were in the adult diaper section, but they're just very thick and very reasonably cost. So those are my two main things. And then for panty liners in Japan are really great. They're soft, they cover an area. Some of them, they actually have two panty liners on one. So when one is wet, you can just pull off for the fresh part. I was like, ooh, snap, technology. For panty liners, I just use any one. I don't use scented ones, so I just use cotton ones. This one has wings, and it's really nice. So those are pads. Those are sanitary pads. Now I'll go on to tampons. Tampons, like the American brands, I'll show you the difference through illustrations with tampons. A lot of people don't like, a lot of foreigners don't like Japanese tampons for this reason. Japanese tampons are kind of like this. They start off like this inside of you, and then when they absorb the blood, they expand to like a rectangle. So if you're like me with a very, very heavy period, if it's a rectangle, everything will just come through the side. So if I'm going to use Japanese tampons, which here we go, there's the box. And by the way, they're so expensive too. This box was more than this. What? This was 300 yen, about $3 US, I think. Yeah, and this one was about 250, so yikes. And I have to use these every hour, and I have to use them with a pad, but that's me. If you have a lighter period, the tampons are fine, and the lighter day pads are fine for you. But if you have a really heavy period, I suggest you always use a pad with the tampon. But that's how I prevent leakage and messes and stains and all these things. Now, as I said, regular American brand tampons, they go in like this and then they expand outwards like that. But these expand like a triangle, like a rectangle. So if you have a very heavy flow, it will just go through the sides. I don't know why. I don't know why. That's just how it is. Now, you can also buy menstrual cups here. So I actually tried menstrual cups here, and they worked for a while. I actually bought two brands. Well, first I bought this, which is Sakun, which is probably a play on words for suck on. And menstrual cups, I really recommend. I enjoy using them. And they're better for the environment. They work. Well, it worked kind of, but it stopped working because of my fibroids. My fibroids are the bane of my existence. My fibroid actually is pushing down on the cup, pushing down on my uterus, on my cervix, to the point where the cup can't open properly. So this is how menstrual cups work. You insert them, and then they bounce back onto your cervix and create a suction. And they work well if you don't have uterine fibroids pushing them out, basically. So initially, I thought maybe the size was too small, so the Sakun was working great. And then I decided to try and get the Luna, but the Luna isn't as thick here at the rim as a Sakun. So when you kind of have to push it out. So listen, when you're using menstrual cups, it's messy. It's super messy. So I would not recommend you use them on a very heavy day where you have to change them every 2 hours. I recommend you use them at home or when you're sleeping overnight, and use a pad for backup and when you're just starting out with them. But yeah, they're good for the environment, but they're super messy. You cannot change these things in public. It's just impossible unless you want to come out of the bathroom stall with your hands covered in blood, because that's basically what you have to do. You have to reach up in there and take out things. This video is becoming very graphic, but yeah, that's what you have to do with menstrual cups. But I do recommend them. And if you live in Japan, Amazon JP, you can order the Sakun, which is a really, really great one. Or you can try with the Luna, which is cheaper. The Sakun was almost 6,000 yen, about $60 US. And the Luna was roughly 3,500 yen, which is about $35 US or less. So those are your options with menstrual cups. But if you don't have fibroids messing up your cervix area, definitely buy those over the pads because you save so much money. What else? I think that was it. I have a special inclusion in this video. Now, when I first arrived in Japan, I was looking for menstrual pads to buy, and then I saw this. I was like, oh my god, Sailor Moon! And if you see in my other videos, you know I'm obsessed. So I went and I bought this, not knowing this is one of the super pads, the overnight pads, like your underwear. It's a diaper basically. The back part of this pad comes above your underwear rim. So where your underwear ends, behind you, it comes over that. It's a super pad. It's super big. It's for overnight, and for me it still doesn't work because I have a heavy period because of fibroids. I covered everything. Let me check my list. Yes, I have. So we went through pads, we went through tampons, and we went through menstrual cups, and all these things you can purchase in Japan. Now, a lot of my friends, what they do is if they live near an army base, they'll go to the army base and purchase pads from there, like from the brands they know. But if you don't live near an army base, I recommend these products, especially for heavier women or women with big bottoms. The ones I recommend will work perfectly for you. Or if they don't go to an army base, what they'll do is they will order them online. So a lot of people go through some desperate do some desperate things to try and get the Western brands they're used to, but Japanese brands are great. Don't avoid them. I mean, people from China come all the way to Japan to do bakugai, which is mass shopping, and a lot of them are buying these products because the quality is so good, and I guess the quality in China isn't great. And they're very soft and they're very nice, and I've had no issues with them at all, other than the leakage when I'm riding my bicycle, but that's just because of my fibroids, which I will talk about in a later video. Maybe. It depends on if I do surgery here for them or not, but that's for a different time. So I really hope the information that I gave you today helps. And anything else? No, that's it. So enjoy your day. Have a happy period. Oh, periods are never happy. I'm not even going to pretend. They're terrible. I cry every time. So yeah, I hope this information helps you. Till next time. Bye.